Hello and welcome into the SorareData Football Strategy Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by PSU fans too, Sean Newsham. Today, talk about when to pivot from maybe even a working strategy, but probably the non-working ones. Sean, how's it going?
Tired, Laird. Tired. I saw it. People Sorare down under trying to get me to go outside nowadays. I don't know. That's definitely not going to happen. We're in college football season now. We'll see outside again in like March when it's nice weather again.
I was trying to think of things that are more likely to or less likely to happen than you going outside to collect rewards, and I literally couldn't think of anything.
No, yeah, it would be like I'd go to like get groceries or something and open rewards like once a month or something. I'd have to make it like a strategical move to outside so that I could do it at that time.
I think the most likely situation would be you just opening the window and like putting your phone out the window and seeing if that counted as outside.
Well, you got the screen door. I take the dogs out, right? So it would just be when I take the dogs out. So it's whatever I could get from like the back patio when I take the dogs out, that would be like what I would be able to collect.
Not even like you're taking the dogs for a walk. You're actually just like going 5 steps out while they go in your backyard.
Yeah, I let him run around and I stand there on the patio effectively. Yeah.
I mean, outside is outside. I'm not gonna argue on this.
If my window's open, am I outside technically?
No.
Oh. But if the window's open, like it's outside.
I mean, you can like feel outside, but you're not outside.
Jerm just said attach the phone to a fishing pole and cast it out into the yard and reel it back. Like that's a good tip by Jerm. That he knows what's going
on. I wish we had like a giveaway so that people could. Let's do a giveaway right now. We're gonna give a 1-month star membership to SorareData. I think most people who watch this probably have memberships already, but if you don't, or even if you do, and we'll just give you an extra month. If everybody just leaves a comment in this video about the best way for Sean to try to open rewards outside without actually going outside. The best. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh no, I'm talking to the wife currently.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're
fair
good.
enough. You're not even talking to us. Anyway, so leave a comment below in this video what you think the best way for Sean to somehow trick his phone to think that he's outside so that he can open his rewards. And the best suggestion will win a 1-month star membership to SorareData. If you have a subscription or a membership already, we will just give you an extra month. Please do not leave it in the chat here because then it's going to get lost. So in the comments below, leave the best idea of how Sean can get around this.
Mike Baston's was a good one. Attach it to a drone because it covers a lot more distance.
Okay. So the only small tricky thing is you have to go outside to you likely have to go outside to set the drone up.
No, you can do it. You can do it inside and just let it out the back door.
All right. Don't give away any good answers. Just leave in the comments.
We'll have to see what those are.
Yeah, we'll go through it next week. Don't worry. And we'll do it on the show. We'll go through the best ones. And again, don't. Jonathan's got this one.
That was the obvious one, though, I think.
Yeah, attach it to the dog. But anyway, not in the live chat, in the comments below if you're interested in a free month star membership. Anyway, Sean, I wanted to talk about this pivoting thing, and it's something we sort of talked about recently. The recent conversation was more, when do you give up on a strategy? And I think the month-long competitions are now less about kind of giving up on this strategy. And are we 4 game weeks into the month-long one? Are we 3? Is this 4? I don't even know. We have enough where I feel like you should be like, am I competitive enough to keep going or not? And so I was wondering kind of what your thoughts were of whether it's too early to give up, or either give up or kind of give up on the other competitions in order to focus on specific ones.
Well, it's definitely a situation where we talked about it. I don't think people understood how you're dead if you don't have the guys in the international game week. Like, just you're not going to compete for these monthly competitions during these international game weeks without people in the international game weeks. And we'll use our good friend, Mr. Pepperoni or Juan, who I believe has won All-Star Rare Pro twice in 2 weeks. And if you want to pull up his lineups from this game week and the last game week, we'll help explain why like you just aren't going to win. Oh, sorry, he got second last week.
I was going to say I don't think he won both of them.
Laird, you're using Sorare.com for this?
I am, because I need to show this is the month-long leaderboard.
Oh.
Which we don't have on, as you can see, I'm 1,163rd, but Erwan is first. Yeah. And he's like 114 points ahead of third.
Yes.
Which is Pap.
And he has like 2 scores that are just like unbelievable that are not going to get thrown out. Like his other one like could get thrown out and it could even improve. But like this is why you're just not realistically going to compete unless you have international weeks. You're not putting up 540 and his other score from the last game week is 525. You're not putting up 525 and 538 consistently in All-Star Rare Pro, no matter how hard you prioritize it outside of the international game weeks, because there's just some absolute alpha type teams that are going to happen. So I just think it's a really, really difficult situation for people that don't have the super high end international plays. Like if you don't have the super high end international plays, then it's going to be hard to compete over a month because you lose 3 game weeks. Like losing 3 game weeks is catastrophic in terms of this situation. So I think that you definitely have to put up some big scores to continue to prioritize it. Like, I don't even think I can, I'm not even prioritizing it the rest of the month because I think my scores have sucked. So like, I don't think I realistically have a reason. Yeah. Like 383. So like that's counting right now. That probably gets thrown out by the end of the month. Like I would assume he doesn't end up using 389. I assume he'll use 2 other scores outside of it, but like he just popped down 2 massive scores in international week that some people literally can't even make a lineup in.
What's I think particularly wild about these last 2 lineups is I felt like the conversation before the month-long competition started was you need to have some international players because likely there are going to be people who have very good lineups during those international game weeks. And I don't think we really talked about the possibility that the international game weeks will actually be the highest scoring ones. Like I think when everybody thought about it, they were like, okay, I'll get a few monster scores during club play and then make sure that I have at least one good international score. And Erwan here is SRR1 on Sorare has absolutely blasted these 2 internationals. And it's actually his club scores that are going to be the lower ones.
Yeah.
Most likely of the top. I mean, if he somehow drops like 6 500 scores, then maybe we just end the competition and give Erwan everything. But
yeah.
These are wild scores.
Like I couldn't tell you the last
evidence
time
of what you have to compete with.
I couldn't tell you the last time I had 530 in Rare Pro. I maybe never have had it. And the week before he had 525, which same thing. I don't know if I could ever show you me having 525 in All-Star Rare Pro in like 2+ years of being on the platform. So it's a difficult situation. But yeah, the international game weeks are just going to be like, just people are going to smash because of the scoring that's going to happen in international weeks. Like you need to have 1 or 2 big game weeks during international window to realistically compete month long. That said, like I do think if you put up good scores, like you should prioritize wherever your good scores are to some extent. So it's a difficult situation where I think people are going to struggle with because like you said, it's a situation where it's difficult. Oh, here we have a guest coming in here, Laird. 1 second.
We got a guest apparently. I like this.
We have a guest making an appearance. Here's the guest.
Let's go.
So this is why I was not available last week. I properly told him about people being morons, so he is prepared. He just pooped himself, otherwise he might have been here at the beginning of the show. So he's freshly pooped. So
appreciate the cleanup before the appearance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had the show to start, so Mom had to handle the cleanup. That was a very unfortunate situation. So
tough timing.
People asking if he will go outside, very unlikely. He definitely is going to get that from me. I don't think he's going to go outside. But as you see, he goes into sleep mode pretty quick, so that's pretty solid. So yes, So that was part of the reason. That was kind of the big reason for last week's. I was going to say departure, but that we didn't have a show last week. Sean, congratulations! It's pretty crazy. It's a big life changer, and it's pretty awesome. And talking to you about it,
not on stream is giving me, the memories of when I became a dad, and it's really just awful at first. But man, it'll turn. I promise you, you'll get your sleep back, and you'll feel much better. But yeah, congratulations, and
Unfortunately, his name is Oliver, so he can go by Ollie. But yes, I will give his name before someone can change it, like Larry. But it's more so I didn't want to dox Larry, but then Laird doxed him anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, congratulations, PSU fans 4. It's great news. I don't even remember what we were talking about. We have a baby show up, and all of a sudden I lose all concentration of what we were talking about. Pivoting, yeah. Do you have any move to give up on these? Not give up, because you primarily you go in every game week wanting to win All-Star Rare Pro anyway.
Yeah.
So are you actually changing anything?
I mean, I would to some extent, depending on how I finish. Like, my lineups have been really bad the last couple weeks. So I don't really
know why you've had all the time in the world to just do nothing.
Yeah, I love. Also, I gave people shit that can't get their lineups in. I'm sitting in the hospital all week, and I had to sit there. My wife had to drive to the hospital Thursday. We get there, and they're like, "Yeah, you're going to give the baby tomorrow." I'm like, "All right, got to go home and get lineups, and we'll be back." And had to go home, get some work in, get some lineups done. So I don't need any of those excuses from the lazy people out there that struggle to get their lineups in on time. So those people.
There it is. He's laying it down. Before we keep going, I really like this PSU fans 2 the second, or PSU fans 2 from Mike Basson. I like that one much better than the PSU fans 3 that everyone is throwing out. So sorry, guys. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you have bad lineups. You're dead in the month long. Do you start taking your best cards and distributing them elsewhere so that you're more competitive there and you don't have to worry about the month long?
Possibly, because I do know people are jamming their best cards into the month one. Actually, I had a really good score in All-Star Rare last weekend. Actually, wait, it was 404. Was that wasn't part of it, right?
The first one was
403.
Yeah, 403 was the first one.
403. So let me see real quick what I've done. It's hard because I have so many hidden lineups. It's hard to figure out what is reasonable. So let's see if I have a reasonable lineup in any of them. No, my All-Star Rare Pro lineup has been horrendous every week. My All-Star Rare has been good because I had a 421 in All-Star Rare last game week, but this weekend it's also terrible. So yeah, I really don't have much going on in the competitions right now. So it's unfortunate for me. I don't think I really have a competitive chance, but it's definitely a situation where I would consider moving them elsewhere if it made sense. The issue is the prize pools are just much better in All-Star Rare Pro. You get ETH in All-Star Rare Pro compared to Challenger Rare Pro, for example. So I don't think I'll necessarily change my strategy from what I normally do anyways. What I will say is I probably am not going to prioritize All-Star Super Rare extra hard because of a good score. It's more so my All-Star Super Rare lineups have been bad. My All-Star Rare Pro lineups have been bad. So it's basically All-Star Rare where maybe I'll make better lineups there. But again, we've talked about before, my All-Star Rare lineups typically end up being pretty good anyways. They might not have Messi in it, but they'll have really good cards in that competition.
So the way that I was thinking of it, particularly for your gallery, is one of the reasons that people want to focus on the month long, the two of them, is basically we obviously know that we have prizes for the month long, but they were also taken away from each game week one. So the depth of rewards is lower in every All-Star division. However, you and lots of other people, well, not that many, but you entered that competition every week with, if not the expectation, but then at least the plan to win it, to finish first. Yeah. And if that's the case, then theoretically the fewer rewards that are in each game week doesn't matter, because you're going from there's a first place prize and now there's a first place prize and I want to win that anyway. Yeah. So while you are theoretically making maybe your All-Star Rare lineup worse because you're taking your best rares and putting them in Rare Pro, are we far enough to make a move like that?
I'm checking
3 out of 8. We got plenty of time, even though we still have a few shit internationals to go.
There's a midweek for international coming up. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
But they posted. Okay, they haven't posted. What's pricing going to be like for this upcoming weekend? Because I want to make sure that they actually like reduce the amount that they're supposed to reduce. Like because I don't know how much they're going to reduce it by. So like, what were they giving in All Star Rare Pro? Like 135 on a weekend. I think it was
on the
135.
weekend. I don't even remember. Let me see what the last one was. The last club one. Well, the first game week 403.
Yeah.
Was a club.
Yeah. How many rewards do they give away in 403 in All Star Rare Pro?
Right, 403. Let's see. Sorry.
You look at 403. I'm going to look at 401.
Yeah, 403 was Matchless is normally around 135.
Yes.
And 403 was 108.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. So that's probably too much. They honestly took too much, which isn't surprising again that they did that. But maybe they're giving slightly more in the monthly because it's probably like they're probably taking like 5 from each midweek and then they're taking 27 from the weekend, which would be too many, but not that many for it. So I think that's okay. If they're giving, what do you say it was again? 108? So it went down from 135 to 108. So 27 total difference.
Yeah. And then there's 170 total for the month long.
How much?
170.
Okay. So yeah, that's reasonable. So they're taking 27 off from that. And then so that would effectively mean they're taking off because there's usually 9 game weeks a month. So yeah, that's pretty reasonable. That seems like a reasonable difference.
So again, are we far enough now that we're 3 game weeks in with one more international midweek to get us halfway for you to decide you're out?
If I put up a good score in All-Star Rare, I'd probably prioritize All-Star Rare a bit more the rest of the month because I have one really good score. Like 420, whatever I put up last week is good. Like I think that's a good score. But again, like I don't really care. The only way I'd really care is if I have a chance to like hit a tier 1 or above, right? If I don't have a chance to hit a tier 1, I'm just going to get a card. It's not really going to, if I'm going to get like a tier 5, like, it's not really going to move me to prioritize it much more.
For the month long?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tier 3 is the lowest it goes.
Yeah. Oh, for all the month longs or just Rare Pro?
Rare Pro.
Okay. Yeah. So like
Rare,
if I can get it.
Well, actually, I take that back. It could. Oh yeah, Rare. So in Rare, yeah, the top 400 win through a tier 3.
Yeah.
And the top 180 win cash as well. And then it goes down to 760 total prizes. But obviously from 401 to 760 is either tier 4 or tier 5, which, like you said, you don't care about.
Yeah. Speaking of your All-Star Rare lineup, what in the hell are you doing captaining Reynoso over Bruno?
I actually, it makes it even worse that I had Carlos Gil in a different lineup.
Oh,
and I just played him. Yeah. I took Reynoso over Gil.
You are aware that Bruno had 2 games, right?
I did.
Interesting decision.
Yeah.
I will say Reynoso ran really bad. I watched the last half of that game. The entire second half was played in the New England box. The entire second half.
I saw that he had 25 crosses.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
He had, guess how many lost possessions Reynoso had?
Well, he had 25 crosses, so I assume he had at least 24.
He had 47. Like, if you have 47 lost possessions, that's not a bad sign, right? Like, if you lose the ball 47 times, that means you are constantly trying to get in a position to score a goal or get a decisive, and you just didn't do it. So, like, if you have 47, that's like, if I see a fullback have like 50 lost possessions, you're like, all right, hey, if he gets one of those on target and gets a decisive off it, it's worthwhile. Yeah, I watched that second half. Yeah, 30 penalty kick or 30 penalty entries.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, I don't think captaining him was that bad. I appreciate the Bruno double.
Okay, timeout. It was still bad because Bruno had 2 games.
Yeah.
Bruno had 2 games. It was bad, Laird. Or maybe Bruno had 1. No, Bruno has 2, I think.
I think they have.
They have 2. I just didn't open it, I think.
I don't know when the other game is, though.
Maybe, yeah, they have to have 2 because Diego Costa doesn't have another game.
Is it today?
Yeah, it's got to be today. Yeah.
Yeah, today against
Luxembourg. They had 2 games, one against Luxembourg and one against...
Yeah, I actually wasn't sure they were going to play both.
Slovakia. Why would they not play both?
Because they can destroy Luxembourg without him.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Bad decisions. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I also played Reynoso on my All-Star Rare Pro lineup, but I did not like captain him over Bruno. Did not have that option.
Right. So should I give up on All-Star Rare? I've got a 428 and a whatever. Well, this one's not done yet, but
what's your 428?
From the first game week.
No, you probably are still prioritizing All-Star. Oh no, your 428 was an All-Star Rare.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Rare.
So your 405 All-Star Rare, you got a chance to put up like 3. Yeah, you could put up like 400. Yeah, no, you should. Your rare is probably in play to get a card, but I don't think it's in play to get a high-end card, which is obviously part of the issue.
I'm trying to see how many. So they give away 6 stars. About
Vitali's in chat. We need a better way to showcase that people have 2 games in the lineup builder.
I don't disagree with that.
And in the results page, honestly.
Yeah. Even though you get the best of the 2. Yeah. Pedagol says this is what happens when you use the SDAI. I didn't use it. I probably should have.
You should have.
Would have helped. So do you find that there is a reasonable argument to be made that more people should be giving up on All-Star if they don't think they'll be competitive for 7 or 8 game weeks there, and they should just focus on the regionals? Like, that's what I'm thinking of. I don't want to talk about people. I'm thinking of it that I'm not sure it's worth it.
I don't think give up is the right word, right? It's more so just like, should you continue to prioritize it or move elsewhere? Like, here's the issue, right? Like, if you go to some of the other competitions, the prize pools are just worse. Like, Challenger prize pool, well, actually, Challenger is probably okay because Tadic's value rebound. Like, early in the season, the Challenger prize pool had like 1 card over like 0.6 E. Tadic has rebounded, so like he's back up there. Vandevoort's up there. There's some other guys that are up there, but I don't know. Like, I still think that you should be playing what your best lineups can realistically be to some extent. And even if you can't compete for the monthly, it doesn't mean you shouldn't still run a good lineup in All-Star Rare or All-Star Rare Pro. Like, still reasonable. The issue is like you said, you do have to factor in a lot of people are putting their best cards there. That is where most people are putting their best cards there. It's not saying you shouldn't also put your best cards there, but it is definitely something that you have to consider in this situation and decide whether or not you want to put your best cards there or whether or not you want to maybe disperse them elsewhere to regional stuff. So it definitely is a consideration you have to make.
Yeah, I think I think part of the Challenger reward issues was that it was coming when we really looked, it was before all the new cards came out. And so some of them were like particularly bad, but realistically, how many Challenger cards are there that are like no doubt stars?
Like, no, you're talking about no doubt stars in Challenger pool or no doubt stars in...
I'll put it this way. How many Challenger players are no doubt stars in All-Star?
Let me look. So
like, is it even 5?
Vandevoort, yes.
Yep.
Costa, yes. I'm not sure on Trubin. It seems like people think he's going to be the starter, and his price point is probably justifies him being a star. Like, his price point justifies him being a star. I don't. Yeah. So take that for what it's worth. Like, he literally sold today for an ETH.
Has he started yet?
No, but he sold today for an ETH to Sorare Portugal, which makes me think, he's going to start next game.
That makes
that's what that's telling me. Veerman, I think, is a star. Tadic is a star.
Yeah, that's 5. Is that 5? Yeah, that's 5.
Kachu, probably.
Okay.
And then goalies. Like, it depends, like, where you want to consider, like, some of the goalies.
Then goalies. We've already listed 3 goalies.
Yeah, but I mean, like, these are like less certain goalies. Like, you have Livakovic, Benitez, Sherpin, Butez, Morris, Matt Ryan. Like, I don't think so. Like, I think the answer to your question is probably 6 because I'd probably include Kachu.
And realistically, in America and Asia, are there 6 combined?
All right. So let's see. Asia. I think there's 0 in Asia. I don't think there's
So
1 in Asia.
the only reason why, oh, that's right. Patago makes this good point. Oh no, Porto's still getting minted, right? It's Sporting and no, Porto's not. Yeah, Porto's out. So Costa's out.
Okay. So yeah, 5. I would say 5. So Asia, I don't think there's a player.
Okay.
I'm trying to think like the highest priced player in Asia realistically right now is Osako at 0.31, which is not a star. By the way, if you guys are looking to buy some value options, American Asia have some really good options right now. I know this is the time of year that if you want to buy American Asia cards, this is the best time of the year to buy it. Yeah, you have to buy guys that like you're pretty certain will stay, but like this is the time to buy them. They never get lower than like right now. Then they start trending up. Then before next season, they'll be a lot more expensive. So if you are looking to value buy some guys to help your all-star competitions, like Alexander Schultz is 0.195. He is a really, really solid card for like all-star, for example. Anyways,
I'm actually not sure.
The answer is 0.
I think Schultz's price is inflated because of the because they sell him down. Like if he had a full mint like most other players, I think like we'd have more Schultz cards and he'd be cheaper.
Yeah, but his price is really cheap. Yeah, card.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at America. America, maybe we have a couple, but I don't even know if we have any in America. Messi's 1.
Messi, yeah.
That's probably it because Gil and Almada are like 0.4. So like is 0.4 really a star? Maybe now it is, but if I don't know. Those are the 2 highest players, and those should be the highest 2 players, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like that's what like people that complain that they can't really compete in like all-star competitions. Like you have Ryan Gauld at 0.2, Lucho Acosta at 0.2. You have Ty Wagner at like 0.175. Like they're just, if you want to compete and you are not going into American Asia to get some guys, like you're making mistakes. Or you're just being like snooty and being like, I don't want Asian American players. I only want Champ Europe, baby. Woo!
Well, that's sort of where I was going with this, that you're really only playing All-Star to win Champion Europe players, realistically. Like the top level, you want the Champion Europe players that are out of there. And if that's the case, is there a reasonable strategy of not playing All-Star in order to play Champ Europe? Or is the reason that you don't do that because you need Champ Europe players to play Champ Europe?
Yeah, I mean, you need to spend a shitload more for Champ Europe players to play Champ Europe. By the way, the star pool, actually, if you look in the star pool for All-Star, they are going down. So the lowest, so Matt Ryan is considered a star right now. So if he's a star, that means there's like 10 to 12 stars in Challenger. It means there's like 1 still in America because that means Gil and them are below this and they're tier 1s.
Where did you see this?
I'm just looking at the prize pool right now.
Oh,
the lowest Challenger card in the prize pool right now is Matt Ryan. The only American, and Matt Ryan is priced. I know Matt Ryan's. I won Matt Ryan last week. I haven't gotten. It's been a long time since I got as many offers for a card as I've gotten for Matt Ryan that I won last week. I have at least like 8 different people that have offered me for him, and most of them have been like legit prices. I'm not looking to sell him because I have a lot of AZ.
Yeah, is that a rare? You have a rare Matt Ryan that you're getting all these offers on?
Yeah, but I won a rare Matt Ryan, and it kind of works for me. I also won a super rare Sugawara, which was like the first reward I've been excited about in a long time.
That was a great pull. Yeah,
I was like super excited about that card. I finished like 3rd, and it was like a tier 2, I think, and I was like, it was the most excited I've been in like months.
Yeah, I was shocked you didn't already have one.
I should have had one. I did not have one. I should have had one.
Yeah.
Like I should have had one. So I'm super pumped about that. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like the cards you're trying to win are Champ Europe cards. But like, yeah, if you are trying to legit win high-end Champ Europe cards, the best way to do it's an All-Star. You can make a full team for the price it would cost for like a third of a team in Champ Europe to realistically run out there.
Right.
I mean, you can literally make like the absolute studliest team for like 2 ETH in All-Star Rare Pro. No, not All-Star Rare. Yeah. Nah. Not All-Star Rare Pro. All-Star Rare, you can make like the nut team for like 2 ETH. All-Star Rare Pro, you probably need like 3 to 4. But like for you to make that team in like Champ Europe, you need like 15. 10 to 15 ish ETH.
I'm wondering if a nut team for 2 ETH is actually the right number. I'm not sure it is.
For
I think
rare?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Goalie, like we've talked about goalie, like Ishimori is as good as any other goalie in the platform when he's fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's 0.3. Douglas Santos is probably like the top defender, one of the top defenders. Oh, he's expensive again.
Yeah, he's yeah.
He had got down really low, I think. Or maybe he never got that low. Yeah, he got to like a half an ETH. But like you could get like Ty Wagner, who's like one of the best defenders for 0.175, Gill's 0.4. Forwards where it's a little tricky because like to get an elite level forward, you probably got to pay like an ETH. Because you probably got to pay for like Messi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess unless you like want Cecina.
He's hurt.
Like Gasson said, hold on. Sean was more excited about Super Sugawara than the birth of his son. My wife and son are asleep right now, so we don't have to lie at all. So throw that out there. But Sugawara, I think I opened it when my son is premature by like a month, so we had to spend like a week in the NICU, and I think I opened the rewards in the NICU, and I think I was like yes in the NICU, which probably was pretty
questionable.
Not
true. People get good news.
Who's more noisy, the baby or the dogs? The dogs. The dogs are hyper shit still. They actually are probably more hyper because they get less exercise because we're spending the time where we would take them out and stuff to like on the baby. And the nice thing is though, again, because he was premature, he just sleeps all the time and doesn't give a shit. Like the dogs in his bark in his face and he just sleeps through it. He has like 3 modes. It's like eat, sleep, or poop. And then like he also like he will sleep and poop at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does like the sleep poop where he's just sitting there and he just poops.
Yeah.
My wife was holding him. He just poops on like he also the other day. So he pees through. So for those that do not have a baby, Laird, you probably know this one. Did you have well, this is TMI, but for those that are not aware of boy babies, if you do a certain procedure after they're born, there's a lot of like Vaseline that goes into this procedure afterwards, and then it just creates the diapers not to be the most absorbent. So this dude just pees and it just goes through his diapers like all the time. So he like the first night he was home, I think he peed through his like clothes like 8 times. My wife was so frustrated. Also, for the situation, our laundry machine, our washer broke like 2 weeks ago. Like it broke like 2.5 weeks ago. And so we called and they were like, the first we can get in was the 12th to fix it. And he was originally supposed to be born the 25th, then the 20th, then the 13th, then the 6th, then the 1st. So we were like, okay, that's no big deal. This will be like the day before we're supposed to have him. They can fix it. It'll be ready to go. No. So he came 2 weeks early. So we have no washer. And the dude just pees through everything 24/7. So unfortunately, our parents are like having to take stuff home and wash it for us and then bring it back. But like, again, he was premature. You don't buy a lot of premature baby clothes. Mm-mm. So her friend luckily went out and bought us some and got some clothes for us. But like, dude will pee through like 8 outfits a day because he just like pees and it just goes everywhere. And then when you're changing him, he pees. Mm-hmm. And then after you change him, he pees. Yeah, my poor wife is having to deal with the brunt of stuff, but it's the nice thing is because so apparently if your baby is very premature, they typically sleep a lot more because they're still supposed to be cooking in the oven. Yep. And so he sleeps a shitload.
A lot of newborns sleep a lot. So it's even when he gets to the month, like it'll still,
Correct. But yeah, so he sleeps, eats, and poops, and that's pretty much it. He really only cries when he's hungry or pooped or peed himself. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, he just is asleep, which will change into more crying. But yeah, so right now the dogs are way louder, and the dogs just are the same. But luckily, he doesn't give a shit. The dogs just lose their mind, and he just is laying there. Like my wife will be holding him, and they'll just bark in his face because like someone walked by the house and he like doesn't even acknowledge it.
That might actually be good training for later, that
Agreed.
he just becomes a heavier sleeper because he's used to that. It's a great question here from John Andrews. If the price of a new washer and baby clothes were listed in ETH, would you have been more tempted to buy?
So I actually considered just buying a new washer anyways, because I just didn't want to deal with it. Because I don't remember how much I paid for it when we moved into the house like 5 years ago. I couldn't tell you. And I just feel like it's going to cost like a couple $100 repair, and it probably costs like, I don't know, $800 for a washer these days. I have no idea how much a washer costs. I haven't looked at it.
I bought one in the last few years, and I have no idea.
Yeah, so like I did just consider just buying a new washer.
Mm-hmm.
The clothes, like, I mean, I told my wife, I'm like, you just buy whatever you need in terms of clothes and stuff. I don't care. So she's happy because she can just buy stuff.
If you win All-Star Rare Pro this week, would you have just withdrawn the money and bought a new washer?
Withdraw the money, Laird? Come on. Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am, Laird?
I wouldn't even know how to help with figuring out how to get money off. I'm not even sure we can do it yet here in the States.
I haven't never tried, so I couldn't tell you. Ever given that option.
I can't speak to it. I did notice that if you look at the game week, if you try to look at the rewards for the month-long competitions, it takes you to game week 410 and nothing's listed.
Yeah, I mean, that checks out.
I wanted to see the prize pool for All-Star Rare Pro for like to see what they consider a star, and it seems like it'll just be determined at game week 410 when it opens.
Yeah, like is their stars though? Like, is their star stuff going to be super? How many stars are they giving out for the month? Better question
10.
is Irwan.
They're
giving out 10. Wow. Is Irwan going to buy me a washer because he's going to win All-Star Rare Pro for this month? Irwan, if you're listening, let me know when you're going to buy me a washer.
Let's see. First place 1,600 for the month long, which is pretty good.
So like an ETH. Oh,
yep.
ETH. I had no idea what price of ETH was. So
same. No idea.
Literally, I don't pay attention to anything like that anymore. So, but yeah, they're giving out 10. Oh, they're giving out stars, tier 1 super or 2. That's such a nice reward.
Yep.
I think people were bitching about it. I was like, that's such a. What are they giving out to like the unique division?
It's a tier. It's a star unique, I think.
A star unique.
I thought that's. Oh, sorry. Tier 1 unique star super rare.
That's still an absurdly good reward.
It's a huge reward. Like
they're giving out 2 stars too, so it's going to be pushed up. Like you're looking, that reward's probably at least like 10 to 15. Like that's really good, obviously.
Really, really good. Who is winning this one so far?
Not me. I can confirm, not me. Bambi makes sense.
Bambi, Roxy, Nanzo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I was expecting.
Yeah, where am I at, Laird? Let's see how bad my lineup is.
Let me just unlock my so I can register.
There you go. I guarantee you, let's
doing 10 per. We're going to be here a while.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be here a while. My All-Star Rare or All-Star Unique lineups are pretty terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we can call it. We can just call it and say they suck. Because they're definitely not up there. Unfortunately, I mean, I would love to win that.
Pablo has the benefit that he'll always have a lineup everywhere. Like he will have a lineup.
Doesn't he get stuff canceled though? I think I saw something the other day where like he accidentally canceled a lineup or something.
Oh, really? Because I was pretty sure he didn't sell cards that would cancel lineups.
Maybe not.
But maybe he did it by accident. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that situation.
Let's see. You are 26th currently.
Okay.
At 726 points.
Smashing it.
726, which is about 900 short of Bambi.
Close. About 3 more game weeks, I'll be there.
There you go.
I think I'm probably putting up like 300 this week. Let's see. What am I putting up in this midweek, Laird? All-Star Unique. 358, Laird, putting up a big score. Yep.
What do you think? I feel like you don't consider cap modes that much, but the new XP in cap modes is coming up this weekend, I believe.
I don't even know what it is, though.
It's 408, which is a midweek. Oh, I guess it's next midweek.
No, it's like 2 midweeks.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't think it changes anything for anyone right now.
I don't think it impacts anyone. Like, yeah, I don't think it has much of an impact. Like, it does have an impact, but like, it doesn't have like an impact that you're like doing something fully differently. I don't think. Like, I think
I'd say the top thing that still drives me nuts of that, of at least like 270, is the 50% captain. I really don't get it.
I hate 50% captain. I know you hate it also.
I just don't see why they need to do it.
Yeah, I don't.
Put it that way.
I just like it. Just puts so much weight on that one player,
right?
Which is like, that's just not the. Like, if we were just playing the game, it's just like who's the best player, captain. Like, I don't know. What, like, because if you do not get that player, like if you don't get like 90 plus from that player, it's really detrimental, which is
right.
It's difficult.
Yep. Looking for food said, is the percentage bonus showing on SD on the lineup builders for cat mode? I would assume not yet, because we don't know what the XP percentages will be in a few game weeks. Like, you can't. I mean, I guess we could show, current XP, but theoretically XP will be different in 3 weeks. So, yeah. So where Malta says, to compete in the long form, an affordable pivot for this month was to buy Division 2 England players as they play in 407, 408, and 409. I know La Liga 2 is playing over the international break as well.
So here's
I feel like you tend to stay away from those types of cards, but is it reasonable?
No, here's the thing. It's a compete versus compete thing, right? Like, it's you're not really competing. Like, you need to put up big scores. But I will give the advice on how to compete in this situation. You can find teams during international breaks that have just unbelievably good matchups that are not that expensive. The players are not that expensive individually. Like, a good example, Scotland played Cyprus, right? So you could have went and bought some Scotland players. Like, Porteous put up 100. Porteous card is 0.1. Like, not super cheap, but not ridiculous. Angus Gunn is their goalie. Like, this is a goalie that plays in the championship. So it's a guy you could get all the time stuff for him. He's like 0.425. Like, that's a number that you'd be paying for a starting goalie a lot of the time.
I'll give credit to Tuggy for trying to pump Scott McTominay before the break because of this game.
Tuggy did.
He banged out an 86.
Yeah, but like that, you can find dudes that play on these teams that are not the most absurdly expensive, and you can still get good results. Obviously, some of the teams are going to be expensive, but like, great example of this, last game week, there was no shot Denmark guys weren't going to just put up a massive score against San Marino. It was going to happen. So like, you could go buy Christian Eriksen. Is he the most usable in the regular weeks? No, of course not. But 0.08. Okay, Christian Eriksen, 100, easy.
So you say 0.08. His price doubled the week going into the break.
Sure, but if you
planned ahead, you were well ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, if you knew that this was coming, though, what you did, like, this was on the schedule. It wasn't like there is no card that I felt better about getting 100 during this international window than Christian Eriksen against San Marino. Like, he was going to get 100 in this game. There's no way he wasn't. Like, you could have went and bought a Højbjerg. Like, again, there's no way Højbjerg's not just smashing this game. And Højbjerg was like, before this was 0.09, 0.08. Like, there's no way that these center backs aren't going to put up a big game. Like, it's going to happen. Simone Kjaer is going to start in this game most likely. And Simone Kjaer is 0.01. You go buy Simone Kjaer for 0.01. Like, there's just no way these guys were not going to smash this game week. So if you really want to compete in the international weeks, there's ways to do it. You just need to look at matchups and be like, holy shit, this team's going to just dump on someone. And then figure out who are the guys that are going to score well in this game week. And like Skov Olsen, Jensen, Lidstrom let you down. All the other players did well. And like, that's very unlucky with Skov Olsen, I know, because I needed him in U23 Pro, and I was very, very, very disappointed with that performance. But like, it's just a situation where these plays were very, very, very apparent who was going to smash. And you can look through every international game week, and you're just going to find these games that are like, okay, this team maybe isn't normally a powerhouse international team, but like, a good example. I ran in the midweek. I ran this weekend Skriniar in All-Star Rare Pro. they play Liechtenstein today at home. Like StreamYard's more than likely going to put up a massive game this week. Not to mention, you have a double game week. So you could sit there and you could get StreamYard in a double game where he played Portugal. Yeah, I don't expect much against Portugal, but maybe he gets a decisive and gives me at least a floor. And then he plays Liechtenstein at home, where the average defender score against Liechtenstein at home is 74. So, like, I can sit there and run StreamYard. I'm probably, like, I would expect StreamYard to rip, like, 75 plus today. I think there's a realistic shot I get at least 75 plus from StreamYard, good shot at, like, 100. So, like, StreamYard 0.165. Is that cheapest? No, of course not. But, like, if you look at stuff ahead of time and you sit there and sort of factor in what's coming up in these international windows, some of these guys that play for not huge countries, they will have international games here and there that are just super duper favorable that you can run them in and be like, this is about as good as I get. Like, even so, good example, like Malta plays North Macedonia coming up. Well, those are two teams that they're at least competitive. Like Teddy Tuma could have a pretty good game because of that. Yeah. So Sorare Malta said that they play in Malta tomorrow. So, like, it's a home game for Malta. Like, Tuma could have a good game there, and you wouldn't normally expect it. Switzerland plays Andorra. Like, I can expect Switzerland guys to be pretty good. There's just spots you can find. Belgium plays Estonia, so you can find some guys.
Most of those guys are pretty expensive, though.
Yeah, Belgium guys are expensive, but, like, I'm just saying, like, there are paths to finding international games that teams are going to be really favorable in that you could find guys to play, and you just have to figure it out.
Yeah, I do feel like that part is actually overlooked when I feel like people get too cute with international stuff, with international teams, and that there are sometimes second division teams or MLS teams that play during the break. And the problem is that those leagues tend not to be that high scoring when it comes to SO5, and you're competing against players who are playing internationally in sometimes significant, like you said, anybody's playing San Marino, whoever's on that team is probably going to smash. And so you're going to be in a situation where you're going in with your La Liga 2 guys where you're like, I have a lineup. And it's like, well, that's great. But this Slovenia stack just scored 540 and you got your 5 guys all played, but you scored 362 and you're not even remotely close to a reward. Like, I think that's the other thing that people ignore is that international, like during international play, reward pools are tiny.
Yeah.
And so you really need to smash it in order to get a good reward. And I feel like focusing on the second division that just happen to play during these breaks ends up being actually more detrimental because you end up with these guys that just don't score enough.
Yeah, well, what those guys are is effectively like they're your guys that you go out there and try to hit a threshold with, right? Like, you try to go get a threshold with them. They're not going to get you up there on a podium. Like, you're not even a podium. They're not even going to win your award. Because, like, if you do not smash it, like 60s and 70s and international breaks are just not going to cut it for the most part. Like, you need to be putting up big ass scores. And if you are putting up big ass scores, you can be competitive and you can be productive in those windows. But, like, if you're not, you just cannot get those sort of responses.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up here. What is their Smart Bank? Because La Liga Smart Bank like played over this break.
Yeah.
So we had 4 players who scored over 90.
Yeah.
And that's it.
4 players over 80.
What's that?
4 players over 80, not 90.
No, these 4 over 90.
Oh, sorry. I had the chat up. I couldn't see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, and like, you had 4 guys on Denmark score 90.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just a situation where, like, you just aren't realistically going to get a productive lineup out of that.
Right. And one of these 100s required 2 clearances off the line.
Yeah. Correct.
I don't know. It just feels not worth it to me. I'm particularly bummed of seeing Nicolas de la Cruz here on the top of my list scoring 10,000 points when I didn't have him in a lineup.
That's unfortunate for you, Laird.
Big unfortunate, Sean.
But you look at it, like, there was, of the people that scored 100 and like 90 plus, like, there was chunks of them from La Liga Smart Bank. But the issue is like, you can just look at some of these international games in the windows and be like, holy shit, this team's going to smash. Like, I'm going to go see, I'm going to guess Belgium is expected to score 4+ goals tomorrow. So I'm going to go look it up here and just assume Belgium's going to be expected to score 4+ goals tomorrow. Because it feels no, actually they're not. They're only supposed to score like 3 something. Like Switzerland's supposed to score like 3.5 goals tomorrow. Like these are massive totals that you just don't really see that often. Spain's expected to score 3.75 goals. Like these are bigger totals than you see during weekends when teams play lopsided matchups. Like these matchups are the most lopsided of all matchups. Like what you get in these international windows, especially.
And you're going to get these every game week.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, every international game week.
Every international break, there's going to be stuff like this.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what the issue is when you start looking at these other players play, and it's like they play, and you'll get a lineup, but it's going to be really hard for you to compete.
Yeah, like Slovakia is a 3.5 goal favorite today against Liechtenstein.
Yeah,
like Slovakia is not a 3.5 goal favorite against more than like 3 teams in Europe. But they are this week. And so that makes them one of the best plays this week. So like this game week, like I thought Skriniar was one of the best, if not the best defenders, period, in this game week.
Yeah, he's up there for sure. Yeah. Did you play him over Ruben Diaz?
Yes. Okay. This matchup is better than either of the matchups Ruben Diaz had.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. Luxembourg is
for example, just for clarity, Slovakia is a bigger favorite against Liechtenstein today at home than Portugal is against Luxembourg today at home.
Yeah,
like that's how big of a difference it is. So like, yeah, I think that Skriniar is a bigger favorite in this game than Ruben Diaz would have been for Portugal. So like, I wanted to play him instead of Ruben Diaz. There's less likely chance that he rotates or anything. Even though like Diaz probably is not going to rotate, there's less of a chance that it happens here.
And it's also just significantly bigger than any La Liga Smart Bank team is going to have.
Correct.
Like you're not going to see a La Liga Smart Bank team as a 90% favorite.
Correct. Like I'm going to
go. We had Denmark. I think it was Denmark because Gator guy showed it to me. I think Denmark literally had implied odds of a 99% chance to win.
Yeah.
And
so looking at Smart Bank for this upcoming weekend, no team is bigger than a 0.5 goal favorite. No team. Slovakia is a 3.5 goal favorite. Like it's and like that, it's just drastic. It's so wide.
But it will be like that every game week, like every international.
Every international game week where the European teams play, it's going to be that wide. Even like when they bring in like, I don't know, are they going to do CONCACAF Nations League? Because America is going to be that big of a favorite in some of the spots. The issue is though, is like you have a bit more not knowing who's going to start in those situations, whereas like you can be pretty certain who's going to start for a lot of these European teams.
I think you run into the situation. You may not know 11.
You might not know 11. You might know 7. Like I can be pretty certain on 7 guys on like Denmark. I was pretty certain. Can you go back to the Denmark lineup?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could have guessed like 7. Because you knew who goalie was going to be. You knew Mail was going to start. You knew Striger Larson was going to start. You probably knew Højbjerg and Eriksson would start. You knew Skov Olsen would start. I think Wind was probably pretty likely. Maybe not a win. Maybe not a win. But regardless, like you knew that you probably knew 7 guys. So like you just don't go buy like Matthias Jensen, who you're not sure if he's going to play, and you buy Højbjerg, who you know is going to start. So it's just a spot where you can sort of figure out who you like. What Joachim Andersen have if you take away the assist? Yeah, so if you take away the assist, Joachim Andersen had 78 anyways.
He's still at almost 80, yeah.
Yeah, so he's had a great game. Like, what did Mail have if you take away the goal?
Just like this is exactly why you do this. 85% possession, 32-1 shots.
For the massive scoring from an international perspective, scoring is key. Or not scoring, I'm sorry, possession is key. If you hold a boatload of possession, that's how you're going to just rake. Yeah, so again, Mail had 83 without the goal.
Yeah, my favorite is Eriksson.
Eriksson had way more. Like Eriksson had 86. Or not 86. Yeah, 86. So it's just like these guys are just
Højbjerg's score, by the way, is in 59 minutes.
Yeah, correct. So it just like possession is key in terms of putting up monster scores consistently.
Yeah, it's wild.
So Sorare Malta said he wasn't suggesting Division Two can compete with an international game week, but you can compete in the long form competition in the remaining game weeks of the month. I disagree. I don't think the second division guys are going to get you there in a long form contest. You're basically just putting out a lineup that will get you some points, but it's not going to get you points that are like putting you in contention to get a card in the long form competition.
So to kind of keep going on that, the issue is that if the second division players were so good that they allowed you to consistently compete for podiums during club play, their prices would be double.
Correct.
Like they would be significantly more expensive. So we know that most of them don't score as well, which is why they're not that competitive during the club season. And then now we just talked about there's so many big favorites in international play that you're going to get 8 scores, but your top 4 just will not be high enough to at least
Correct.
finish really highly in the month long.
Correct.
Could you finish at for a card? Sure.
Maybe.
But it's just like if you're really trying to go for tier 1s and tier 0s, I just don't see where there are enough scores from Division 2 players over 8 game weeks for it to be even close.
I think you'll even struggle to get a card. I just think it's going to be hard to even get a card because guys that have like really high end elite level cards, they will strike out different weeks, right? But they're going to have enough good game weeks where they're going to put up pretty good scores. And luckily we'll have some more data on this at the end of the month where we'll see what it took to get a tier 1, tier 0 podium card. We'll have more of this information, which we'll talk about. So we'll definitely circle back after this month is over and we have this data. We can go and we'll look at it and we'll see like, all right, this is kind of what you have to shoot for if you want to look at something like this.
So Kev Hurd is saying, Laird saying you will compete but not compete. I'm actually not sure you are going to small compete either.
Yeah.
Like I think it actually might be prohibitive to.
I'm not going to say it's prohibitive because getting out of lineup versus not getting out of lineup is always going to be better.
Yeah.
But
he just says he assumes every time you say compete, you mean compete.
Sometimes.
Which I think is true. I actually don't think you ever really care about just small competing.
I don't care about Sorare Malta is aiming towards top 200. Top 200 in which competition, Sorare Malta? Which of the month-long competitions are you looking for that in? The limiteds? I think he's looking for it in the limiteds. Long form all-star rare. So first game week, Sorare Malta put out 276, then nothing, then nothing. So I would say already, like, you do not have a chance this week to get a card. Or this month, Sorare Malta. I just don't think you can get a card because it's just not, you can't do it in 5 game weeks. You need to average a lot of points in 4 game weeks to have it happen. Losing 3 and just not having a lineup is just not going to cut it, I don't think, a lot of the time. Like, even from just getting top 200, like, I don't think you realistically have a shot at getting top 200.
Surface was pointing out that in All-Star Rare, they're giving out 400 up to the 400 spot as a tier 3, and a tier 3 is still a decent card, which is not wrong, but.
So yeah. Vitali thinks top 200 is going to be 1,300 plus. I honestly don't know what it's going to be because I have been busy enough where I have not put in time to think about what it's going to need. Like what is, so that is
1,300 like, seems way too low to me.
Yeah, 1,300
like 325 a game week.
Where are we at right now? Can you go check it where we're at right
now? All-Star Rare. Like I have 741 points and I'm 479th. So I have a tier 4 right now.
And you have 3 scores counted?
I have 2 scores because I had a 1 game week where I didn't have a lineup.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I don't think that you're going to be able to get, well, maybe, I don't know. Again, we'll have to see. I have not put in enough thought because I don't really care about what it's going to take to get a card yet. We will have that information at least after this week of what it was this month. So like after this month, we can at least have an idea of like what you're going to need to get a card, what you're going to need to get, because I will say, like, hypothetically, if you're talking about like the end of the month, like let's say I have 3 good scores in All-Star Rare. Yeah, it probably makes sense to put in an All-Star Rare lineup that's really good so that I can try to get another card, right? Because like 2 tier 3s is worth like, let's say a tier 2, like it does add up a little bit.
Yeah, like going back to the top 200, 200th right now is at 948 points with 3 scores.
So how many? What's that average?
Well, it's the issue is that it's
330?
317-ish, right?
No, it's 330. What you said, 990, didn't you?
948.
Yeah, so you're at like you're at 316.
316, yeah.
316, but that is like you haven't dropped any, you haven't had additional lineups that are going to push it up. I don't think people understand how much stuff's going to get pushed up. So like looking at those numbers and knowing it's at 316 right now with 3 game weeks and people haven't dropped some, have some bad scores, I think you're going to be closer to like 1,400 to 1,500 range.
I think this is also right that a lot of people will only end up getting 5 game weeks worth of lineups.
But not. Yeah, a lot of people will, but not like top 200 are not going to have played.
Oh yeah.
Like top 500 are going to play, or top 200 are going to have played 8 game weeks. Maybe, yeah, there will be a couple people that maybe snuck in with 5-6 game weeks. Most of the people are going to have played 8 game weeks.
Surface said he thinks 1,700 will be needed to crack the top 10. The top 10 right now is at 1,200, but obviously it's only 2 scores.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. That was kind of my guess, is you'd need 425 plus. So that makes sense. We'll see what top 200 needs. My guess is for top 200, you're going to need to average a bit more. Vitaly says that 1,300 plus was the lowest estimate anyways. Yeah, I would bet we are over 1,300. I would say 1,400 is like the lowest estimate.
For top 200?
Yeah. Based on these numbers that we're hearing.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Like at the end of the month, we'll be able to look at all this stuff and see. I think obviously the rare and limited should always be somewhat consistent in terms of these.
Well, I think once we get out of internationals, because like January, I think is it September, October, November has internationals, but then like December and January don't. I don't even know if they start up again.
And there's a lot more.
But then we get the midweek club, like Champions League and all that stuff. So.
Well, yeah, you have Champions League and stuff where there's going to be all lopsided games in these months too. So it's going to be, we'll have to see. I guess we haven't spent enough time looking at it to really give a better opinion than that right now.
There's just not enough to look at yet. Like we literally haven't even gotten 4 scores, let alone.
What I do think, this is what I think, is that limited and rare, after this one, we will have a good guesstimation of where it will be. Because I don't think limited and rare will be super high variance in terms of like what you need.
Yeah, I mean, they were already the highest scoring competitions week to week anyway. So it's not like anything's really changing.
But like I'm saying, like unique level could shift like 200 points in terms of month to month because someone could just have monster weeks that really pushed it up.
Yeah. That's fair, I guess. Yeah, I feel like the scores that we've seen in All-Star leading up to this are like the lowest that we'll consider from now on, because people will see what they can win in the month long and be like, all right, I will take my best cards out of here and put them here, except maybe Champion Europe. That seems like we've always talked about that using Champion Europe cards in All-Star is not optimal, at least from a price perspective. All right. You got anything else, Sean?
Nope.
Got some diapers to change?
No, just listen to the dogs bark.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. Sean, congratulations. It's a big it's big news. So happy to have you back also. And good luck with everything. Everyone, thank you for watching. Good luck with the rest of whatever the game week we're on. And then this midweek. And then don't worry, club football will be back this weekend and we can all go back to enjoying Sorare like it's meant to be. Thank you, everyone.